we're really happy to have two experts with us. Megan Mitchell, that you already met, will be coming on in a while. But first, we welcome Deborah Shirley Cohrs, who you can see on the screen right now. And I will give the floor and the screen to Deborah very soon, but I will just encourage you to listen extra carefully, because in Deborah's presentation she will present a SWOT analysis model, and that will be what you will then use in the workshop to come. So pay extra attention to that part, and take it away, Deborah.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Very nice to see you. My name is Deborah Shirley Cohrs. Thank you, Mathias, for your introduction. I'm a digital marketing and communication consultant from Hamburg, Germany. That's where I am right now. And I'm working for art cinemas in Germany, cinema associations and projects also beyond the cinema industry. That's why I also brought a little example from outside of the box, and I hope to inspire you today. And I'm going to share my screen with you, and in case you have any questions, I will be available until after this session. So we will have a little Q&A, of course, and you can reach out to me anytime after this lab if you have any further questions. So I hope you see my screen right now. I hope this works. I am well aware that marketing and communication is one part of the cinema business that sometimes cannot win any resources in the daily business. And that is why I am aiming to give you just some small little ideas and takeaways that will build up and inspire you to do the group work after Megan's presentation. And my goal today is to give you some clarity and inspiration and motivation to get into the potential I think each and every one of you has, and using all the great tools the internet has to offer. So today I will take you into a 20-minute presentation on a journey through the digital marketing landscape. And we will do this in 3 parts. We will start by understanding the scope, because as you can tell, there are a million of possibilities in digital marketing. Then we will have a look at the customer journey. So we kind of go from theory to daily business. And then finally, I will share some insights for smarter digital marketing. That is why we're here. So we want to know the little tricks. And yeah, we will start with the first part. So understanding the scope of digital marketing, I brought some numbers. It's not a lot, it's just a little colorful slide that you see here. Maybe you remember the time when digital marketing was just about launching a website and sending out a newsletter, and then we're done. So things changed. The possibilities of digital marketing measures, they change on a daily basis. And as you know, things like AI are probably just the tip of the iceberg. And at the moment, there are 5.3 billion individuals using the internet, and almost all of them are active on social media. I guess you all are one of these people. And in digital marketing, most measures are dominated by the use of social media platforms. And as you can see, on average, users spend more than 2 hours daily using these platforms. So of course, this is a great place to reach our audiences. And maybe you can have a look at all the logos I put on the right side of the slide. And you can ask yourself, do you know all these platforms? Is there anything that I'm using already? Is there something that I don't really know about, something new that you see? The whole universe of these digital platforms and social media platforms to communicate can be barely put into any structure. That's what I was first trying to do, but I just simply can't, because, for example, Instagram is a photo sharing app, but it also became a video sharing platform, and it's also a great messenger. So there's not really anything that you can put things into a really nice layout to make it more accessible, to understand the whole scope. And it can be very overwhelming, especially for cinemas, to break through the noise and make a lasting impact. And this should be nothing to set your mind spinning, as this presentation is not about telling you to be present on all of these channels, but rather understand which channels offer the most opportunities for cinemas, and learning the benefits that will motivate you to look at your marketing from maybe a new perspective.
So the greatest thing about all these possibilities in digital marketing is that we are able to analyze our performance. If you are, for example, active on Facebook, you will see that your posts lost a lot of reach during the past month. And on Instagram, you will see that once you post a reel, which is a short video, you will reach a great amount of new audiences. So you have great opportunities to analyze the data through digital marketing. Data is the key, and we should make use of that. And to make it a little bit more visual, let's see what is happening in cinemas at the moment. Even though there is a lot of potential in digital marketing, many cinemas are evolving with the changing media landscape. And from the cinemas I am working with, I am bringing you 3 trends. Maybe you can call them trends, but things that all these cinemas do that are happening in digital marketing at the moment that are probably not any news to you, but I hope they will inspire you before we would take a deeper look into the opportunities we have. Starting new platforms like Letterboxd or TikTok. Letterboxd offers access to a community of film enthusiasts around the world, and it's also a great profile for cinemas to put out lists and critics and reviews of all the films that you're screening. So this is a really niche platform, but cinemas are trying to learn to work with it and to make use of it for their digital marketing. And then, of course, TikTok, the next big thing, or the big thing at the moment, especially for the younger audiences, the video first platform where many cinemas are already active and trying to reach new audiences. Advertising, spending budget on social media. Of course, you all know Meta, the big head of Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and all of these channels. So many cinemas are using advertised posts to reach audiences, more audiences other than their own communities. And the cinemas that I'm working with, they mostly try to use the budget the distributors give them. So they do not use their own marketing budget, but they ask for budget at the distributors to advertise films and to hopefully also spread some kind of message around the cinema with the advertising itself. So they really profit from the possibilities they have on Facebook and Instagram advertising. And then last but not least, creating video content. Short video is all over the place. And platforms like TikTok, they were kind of like the first to do it in that method they are doing it. And now Instagram is doing the same thing. And many cinemas, this is a screenshot from the Thalia Programmkino. They are working towards sharing more video content about the experiences at the venue, about the screenings, about the events, the photos and everything to reach more audiences. And I said it in the beginning, you can probably tell the moment you post short videos and you include it into your content strategy, you will have a boost in your reach and you will have a boost in all your social media channels by using this new type of content or type of asset. So maybe this inspires you and gives you something to take away, or maybe you say, yeah, I know this all, I'm doing this already, then great, please do more of it. I think this all has a great potential, and for the cinemas I'm working with, this is working really well. What are the digital touch points with your audiences? So it is important to think digital first on all communication matters, not only because of its cost efficiency in comparison to printed programs and ads in the local newspaper, but mostly because of the so valuable data that you are able to collect through digital marketing measures. So this graphic shows some of the digital touch points that users probably have before visiting your website, which can be direct clicks, which can be email, newsletters, referrals, press and links and everything, search engines like Google, social media and ads. And the main goal is always to lead the users to your website. This is the main hub where you share all the information about your program and services, and then to optimize all the touch points through your dedicated marketing measures. For example, all of your digital tools, the one that are displayed, they offer opportunities to analyze the performance. You know Google Analytics, you probably know the insight tools from your Instagram account. You probably have an insight tool of your newsletter. You will be able to see how many people opened your latest special newsletter. On Instagram, you will see how many people have been reached by your latest content. And on your website, you will see which landing page was clicked the most. And through analyzing all these different channels, you will gain insight on your community and on your content. And this leads to better understanding and optimizing your measures. So the most important thing with all of this is not to overanalyze your performance, because this can also be quite overwhelming. After you listed the main digital touch points, you can think about key performance indicators, a number, a percentage, a goal that you want to achieve with your measures on that platform. So let's take your social media, newsletter, and website, which we will also do later in the workshop, or you will do later in the workshop, and analyze 3 KPIs each month. This could be the outcome. You want to gain 50 more people to join your newsletter. So you make sure to cross-market it on social media channels. And maybe you create an ad on your screen that you display when people arrive at the venue, or you print out posters that you hang in your entryway. All these measures could help gaining 50 more subscribers to your newsletters. And maybe you want more interactions on your posts on Instagram, so you can start proactively building up the community by starting a dialogue and commenting on the comments that you're receiving, or maybe work on your branding, which worked very well for the Broadway Film Theater in Trier. So we completely redid the whole branding on social media, and this really helped to drive up the interactions that we had, because people knew what to expect when they saw the assets of the cinema. So this could be also a great measure to take. And then finally, if you want more ticket sales on your, for example, your new special monthly program, then it could be a good marketing measure to create a landing page about the special program, answering all the questions, and really make the experience accessible on your website, so people are more likely to buy tickets for this event. And then, of course, share it regularly through all of your channels. And in the end, as you can see, it is all about finding new potentials and possibly easy solutions to any weaknesses in your marketing. And with the Pro Art House group, which all the cinemas I was talking about are in, I developed an interactive dashboard displaying all the KPIs that we defined. So we are reporting website performances, social media performances, and newsletter performances. And this reporting helps us each month to decide on new marketing measures and to optimize our performance. So the tool that I'm using that you can see on the slide is called Google Looker Studio. It's free of cost, and you can put in data from Google Analytics. You can put in data from Sheets, from other tools that you're using, and then you can create this really nice dashboard displaying the development of your channels. And then each month you can sit down and check, okay, did I reach my goal? Why didn't I reach my goal? Did this measure work? Why didn't it work? What else can I do? What other potentials do I see? And these are some KPIs that you probably know, but in the end, there's nothing that you have to analyze. It's always very, very individual what works for your cinema. So maybe your cinema is really working on having a better performance on the website, selling more online tickets. Then, of course, it's important to get more page views, to have more people visiting a certain landing page, or maybe drive up the share of online tickets. So these could be KPIs that you could use. And then, or maybe you want to optimize your social media channels. You want to focus on your Instagram. Then, of course, it is important. How's your reach? How many followers do you gain each month? How's the interaction rate? So you can define for yourself, what do you want to look at? And it doesn't have to be a lot. It's okay if it's just one KPI. It's okay if it's just 3. Just make sure to analyze all the time and just reflect on what you are communicating to make it better and better and get into your potential. Smarter digital marketing. I want to talk a little bit about the importance of first-party data. So now we are diving a little bit deeper into the data. So it means first-party data means that we know, well, it includes everything we know about our customer or our visitor. So what they bought online, their email address, the phone number, everything. So this is very, very, very important. Second-party data is first-party data shared with other companies, for example, and third-party data would be data that another business collected for you. But we are talking about first-party data, so the data that you own, that you collect, for example, through your newsletter, through your membership program, and so on. The easiest way would be those two: creating a newsletter that you probably all have, maybe starting a membership program like Wolf Kino or York Kinos, as you can see on the slide. So if someone is purchasing a ticket through your website, the data of this purchase, like name and address, will be saved, and you can use this data to get a better understanding of your target group, get a better understanding of your customers, and then again, you can reach them more on a personalized level, which is perfect. I mean, of course, you reach audiences on Instagram as well, and it is important to have a growing community on social media, but this mostly serves your visibility online and it drives awareness. But through neatly collected first-party data and growing resources, you will be able to generate direct consideration and purchases in your closest community, which is the most valuable to you. So, as I said, newsletters, great way to connect with your audiences and get more control of the data that you get. And then membership programs, of course, another potential way to create a deeper connection to your customers and offer benefits in exchange of data that is not just a weekly newsletter. And I want to emphasize that memberships are not only made for heavy users, but to create heavy users. So, for example, take your local coffee shop, you will receive 1 free coffee after your 5th visit. That's great. And whenever someone thinks about having a coffee, that person will be coming to your place in order to benefit from that program. So leveling it up to a digital level, you will collect data each time someone visits. You can give benefits and make that person the next heavy user of your cinema. This is a case study. I told you before, I brought something from outside of the cinema industry. I want to talk about marketing automation. This is another great benefit data offers to us, because through data, we are able to automate our measures. So this case study is from my client, Cacao Misha. I think it's Coco in English, if I'm not wrong. So Coco Misha, if you want. So he's selling raw cacao and everything that goes with it. And marketing automation is a broad topic, but there are many potentials to dive into. But today I will only talk about marketing automation with newsletters, because I think it's quite easy to set this up. So the greatest benefit of automation is that you only have to set it up once, you make the concept once, and then it will work itself. I mean, of course, this is ideal. You still have to analyze and optimize, but in the end, you will have work at one point, and then it would just deliver successful numbers to your company. And building an e-commerce brand like Cacao Misha brings many, many benefits. And the greatest was having a lot of first-party data. We are working with Shopify, so all the data is with us. We don't have any other third party who's collecting data for us, like a ticketing sale person or something. So everything belongs to us. And because of these web applications, we were able to build a successful newsletter automation, and we are driving 20% more profit within the newsletter to the company, which is great. So these are numbers from September. So we have an opening rate of over 50%. We have a click rate of almost 10%, which is amazing. And then plus 27% in September revenue through automated flows, which is just great that it worked. Something that I want to point out, we are doing automated flows, which means that there is a trigger. For example, someone is signing up for the newsletter, and then the journey starts. So the flow starts, and we are telling stories around the brand. So it's not just, okay, you just bought this product, please buy this product next month or give us feedback. It's more about telling a story around the cocoa, around the bean, about the countries that it's coming from, about sustainability, about Misha's personal story, and then connecting it with the product itself. The tool we're using is Klaviyo, but many other newsletter tools like Brevo, Sendinblue, Newsletter to Go, MailChimp, they offer the same opportunities, the same tools to make a flow like this. And I want to put this into the cinema context now. So what could we do for cinemas? What would be nice? Having a weekly program newsletter is a must, but how about an email after someone visited the cinema, asking for feedback or displaying the trailer they have seen during their visit? Or what about email to someone who has not visited in 3 months, and you have a benefit to give to that person to bring that person back to the cinema? It takes two things. It's the technical basis. You need the data and setting it up. But after that, your concept will work. Going full circle, implementing this strategy with your newsletters, using automation, or simply creating additional segments to your customers will help you understand more about your target group. You can enrich your data through segments, for example, based on interest, and then you can start leveling up your daily marketing measures. Matthias said it in the beginning, you will have a little workshop after Megan's presentation. We will do a SWOT analysis of your current digital marketing. I am sure all of you know what a SWOT analysis is, so I won't tell you about it, but in the end, what it's about is we will have a closer look on your website, on your newsletter, and your social media, and you will try to think about what are my strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities I have, and what are the threats. And of course, you can always use this tool outside of this workshop. I would always recommend you to use it at least once a year when you plan out all your marketing measures, to just have a close look on all of the things you're doing digitally, have a look on all the data and analyze this data. And in the end, and this is what you're going to do today as well, you will take your strength and eliminate all the weaknesses and threats that you have. And then we will work on, and you will take these opportunities to level up your digital marketing. This is last slide. So maybe just to give it a little summary. So it's very hard competing in this oversaturated digital marketing space, and it's challenging for cinemas. But by implementing the right strategies and techniques, like maybe the ones you have just seen, you can establish your presence and you can engage your target audiences with all the possibilities of digital marketing. And always keep in mind, this is what it says on the slide. It's not about being everywhere. It's just about knowing what you do once you're there. So always focus on what you can do best. Take your little KPIs, take 2, 1, 2, 3, work on them, work on your socials, work on your newsletter, work on your website, and level up your marketing. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Deborah. I would just like to ask one thing for clarification on the SWOT analysis, because this will be a group effort. Do you want the participants to choose one cinema and add the comments on that, or can they bring stuff from their individual cinemas, from several different?
I think it's good to bring several different, because you can learn from each other. Most of you will see that you are facing the same threats And it would really help if you take your own cinema and think about of course, talk about what could be a solution to this problem, or you can inspire each other by a solution.
Deborah, you are more than happy to lurk in the background or go and do whatever you want at this time. We will now continue with another presentation, and then after the workshop, you've promised to come back and help with a debrief and some comments on the work that the participants are doing. So see you later, and thanks for now.
Thank you so much, everyone. I would join on the live stream now, and then I will come back later on the Zoom. Bye-bye.
Thank you. So after that, now we welcome Megan.
I am not an expert in social media. Similar to all of you, I am an exhibitor who has come to know social media out of necessity. And I just want social media because I think if we are honest about the resources and the time that we barely have time to be doing the things that we are doing now, let alone two full-time people, everyone, to be able to do what we need to do. And I'm barely one full-time person, so I empathise with all of you guys. So actually my presentation is only 3 words long. And I wanted to take it back to really why we are all invested in cinema, because I think sometimes we can extrapolate what we're doing away from the audience, and when we take it to social media, we can be thinking about things other than what we're actually meant to be doing. Reaching out our hands to everyone, but I think we've got a lot of questions to ask ourselves before we even begin to engage with social media and social media platforms. So I wanted to begin with the first word, who. Who you want to speak to online can be the guiding light when your time and resource thin. And I think often when we speak about social media, our first immediate focus is on young people, and I know that that's been a recurring theme of concern in this room. And I think that that's for a lot of reasons. We have the forthcoming death of cinema. We have, TikTok becoming the overnight shorthand for social media. And also because I think historically, because we now have a pattern of exclusion for young people in independent cinemas, we look at the digital landscape as a place that we can begin to address these barriers. But I think identifying really who you want to speak to online is the foundation for your social media approach. It shapes where and how you post. And this who, I think at the very core of what we approach can be anything. And I think that you don't need to be looking at the social media landscape as this vast unknown of people that you will never think of again. I think that if you really boil it down to people who already visit your cinema, your local community, young people already interested in cinema, young people not already interested in cinema, young people in film talk, young people in book talk, young people into Gore Corp, young people into techwear. And if that is confusing, maybe TikTok's not the platform for you. But also older audiences who are visiting your venue, older audiences who are not visiting your venue, young people with families, older people with families, people with grown families, single people, couples, married people, disabled people, deaf people. I think that often when we think about social media, we think so broadly that it gets out of hand. And also, again, we have no time, we have no resources. So thinking about the broad landscape of cinema as this global phenomenon is not useful to us. And it's also not necessary to separate out those groups, because your visiting audience might already be old, or your visiting audience might be deaf, or you might be looking to engage young deaf people. But I think the point is that once you have a clear who, you can work on your why. Why do you want to engage these people? And I often think, Deborah said a really interesting thing around, what was it? It's not just about being everywhere. And for me, it's the opposite. It is about being where you need to be for the people that you're looking to engage. And I think for me, the why really helps you develop your approach, because we can be on all social media platforms and our strategies can be really bad, or we can be on one platform that we are really developing and thinking about who is on that. So say, for example, you're looking to engage deaf audiences. If you're on TikTok, but you're not captioning your videos, if you're not using descriptive subtitles, if you're doing one accessible screening every month, there is no point in having that idea of who you're engaging. And unfortunately, I don't have a magic wand to say certain approaches work for certain audiences, but I think once you drill down on that why you want to engage a certain audience, you can think about your offer. If you're on social media and you say, I want to engage young people because you look at your audience and think they are very old, what is your offer? Why do you want to engage them? Is it simply because you need to bring the average age down? What is the use for these young people of that engagement? Which brings us to the how. And I told you this was going to be like snappy. I think why and who lead to how, and how really is the strategies. And I again, this is not KPI chat. I think when you're looking at the how, it really is about identifying that one space that you want to be in. And Deborah mentioned some of these really emerging platforms like Letterbox and TikTok, where we have young people who are really developing their own cinematic language when it comes to films. Popular Letterbox reviews can be as simple as calling Steve Buscemi daddy. And I think that if you're not comfortable in that realm, I think you really do need to reflect on why that might be a social media platform that you would not or will not be able to develop successfully in. Because I think we all want to represent not just our own venue as well, but cinema. And we don't want to be... Deborah mentioned that cinemas are getting into TikTok, and in 2020 I got really into TikTok and then made quite a lucrative, successful little circuit on doing TikTok presentations to cinemas, who all then ran out and joined TikTok, filming their feet as they went into the venue and having, sounds, popular sounds on TikTok from the last 6 months. And you could really see the enthusiasm there, and I think that that's really important when we bring in these strategies and thinking about the how. Do we have the enthusiasm for this platform, this activity, these audiences? And I think that's a big through line in everything that we have to be doing. Okay. I've speed ran this so that we can be on time. In summary, and I lied, I said that this was only 3 words, but it's a little longer than 3 words. But I, again, as an exhibitor, do not have the same resources and time as maybe someone that has multiple people in their office. There is me and my colleague, and we are often the only people doing anything. And so I think that boiling it down to that really simple, picking your audience that you want to engage, and not within the social media sphere, but within your own sphere of engagement. Thinking about who's local to you, who you want to be coming in, not the 5 million people that are using Instagram and TikTok. And know why you want that audience, that through line of your rationale for why these audiences are important for you to engage, instead of them being faceless no ones on the other side of a newsletter. And I think that again leads to the how. If you can focus down on that one platform or that one approach, whether it is developing the best newsletter that's ever existed, or having, just the cringiest TikTok and really sticking to it, that type of development happens over time. It's not an overnight process of we are now on TikTok and very successful, we are now on Letterbox and know what we're doing. But that investment in one platform, one approach can really help the building blocks for how you then develop on social media. And post consistently with the same voice. So I actually haven't mentioned the word brand yet, even though this is meant to be about branding. I think because, one, I really hate the idea of brand for a cinema. We deal in art, we deal in people, we deal in audiences, and the idea that we are a brand and not genuine people who are interested in art in the same way that our audience are can be quite alienating. And I think on a social media space, we can often get into that pattern of posting where it's almost robotic. We are not really thinking, we are just having to put content out. And so thinking about what your voice actually says as a cinema, if your venue is warm and loving and open, do people when they read your tweets feel that? Or is it just, the next time that we will do a fire alarm is Thursday? It's not really useful. Yes, and look to be active, and that, I think, again feeds into this idea of authentic and consistent voice, because if you are representing your cinema in a certain way online, you're also wanting to be having active engagement with audiences. So if you are on these platforms and looking for that one specific way to develop audiences, for example in Letterbox, you are observing how other people are engaging, you're observing who's doing it well, maybe who's not doing it well, and how the types of audiences that you're looking to engage are interacting with each other. And you can then start to have that pattern of engagement. And that is how you will be successful in social media. So I'm glad that we have bedded that down. Let's run through that one more time. Who? Say who. Why? How? And now read this. No. So I realise that that's maybe not as massively in-depth as Deborah's was, but I think that just for me, as someone whose brain is melted on social media anyway, that when we look at cinemas, I think the most important thing really is to look at why we are sincerely engaging in social media, and not simply, oh, the stats are saying that our Facebook has grown 40%, looking at who you genuinely want to come into your spaces. I have a pre-recorded video talking about TikTok on YouTube. You can go check that out. I do teach dances in it, so that's great. And I will be about for any questions.
Thank you so much. Great. Thanks, Megan. A lot of really tangible advice and great knowledge here. And I, for one, will be sampling this presentation when I get back.